In 1119, 9 knights petitioned the king of Jerusalem for permission to establish a religious order with one job: protect Christian pilgrims traveling through the Holy Land. The king gave them a wing of his palace built on the site of the ancient Temple of Solomon. They called themselves the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. History called them the Knights Templar, and within 2 centuries they had built one of the most powerful, complex, and hierarchical organizations in medieval Europe. Which raises an obvious question: what was it actually like to live inside that hierarchy? Hi, I'm Mara, and this is Microplanet. Let's start at the bottom. You are a serving brother, a sergeant. You are not a knight, which means you are not noble. The Templars accepted men of non-noble birth into their ranks as sergeants, and you are one of approximately twice as many sergeants as there are knights in the order. You do much of the essential work. You manage horses, maintain equipment, guard fortifications, and fight, often on foot or on lighter horses than the knights ride. You wear black or brown robes rather than the famous white mantle with the red cross. That white mantle is for knights only. You will never wear it. Your life is one of strict discipline, collective poverty, and genuine danger, and no one is going to write a song about you. Now you are a knight. You are of noble birth, which means you entered the order with a different social status and you carry that status visibly. The white mantle is yours. You are among the most feared heavy cavalry in the medieval world. Templar knights were trained to charge with disciplined coordination that few other forces could match, and you are forbidden to retreat without permission, even against overwhelming odds. That rule has killed many of your predecessors. Your days are structured around prayer, training, and the maintenance of your equipment and horse. You are not permitted to own anything personally. You cannot write letters without permission. You cannot have a key to your own luggage. The discipline is absolute, and it applies equally to the most celebrated knight and the most recent recruit. Now you are a chaplain. You are a priest within the order, and your position is unusual. You are neither knight nor sergeant. You belong to a third category, responsible for the spiritual life of the community. You administer sacraments, lead prayer, and hear confession. You are exempt from some of the more physically demanding duties, but you are not exempt from the rule of obedience. You answer to the same hierarchy as everyone else. Your rank gives you spiritual authority within the order, but you have no military command. You exist, in a very real sense, to keep everyone else's soul in order while they do things that might endanger it. Now you are a commander, a preceptor. You run a local Templar house, called a preceptory or commandery. This is where the Templars' real power becomes visible. A preceptory is not just a military outpost. It is a farm, a financial center, a hospice, and a bank. The Templars effectively invented the letter of credit. A pilgrim could deposit money at a Templar house in France and withdraw its equivalent in Jerusalem, removing the need to travel with valuables. You manage that system locally. You oversee the agricultural output of your lands, the training of your garrison, and the financial accounts that get reported up the chain. You are, functionally, a branch manager of a multinational organization, and the multinational in question happens to also be a crusading military order. Now you are the Marshal. You command the order's military operations in the field. The Grand Master sets strategy, you execute it. You are responsible for the supply lines, the timing of charges, the deployment of forces in battle. When a Templar army forms for battle, you are the one who gives the order to advance. You have also seen those orders result in catastrophic defeats, because the Templars' rule of no retreat sometimes required charging into situations where common sense would have counseled otherwise. The burden of command in an order where the men cannot disobey is a particular kind of burden. Now you are the Grand Master. You answer to no secular authority. You are accountable to the Pope, and, in practice, you operate with a degree of independence that few other figures in medieval Europe possessed. You command thousands of men, dozens of castles, and financial networks that span the continent. You are also, by the rules of your own order, bound to consult your senior officers before making major decisions. The power is real, and the constraints are real. 18 Grand Masters served and died in the Order's 2 centuries of existence. Several died in battle, several died in captivity. The last one, Jacques Molay, was burned at the stake in Paris in 1413, and the order was dissolved. Which brings us back to those 9 knights in Jerusalem in 1119. They started with a wing of a palace and a vow of poverty. What they built, rank by rank, was a system so efficient, so disciplined, and so powerful that when it finally ended, it took a king and a pope working together to bring it down.